everyone, and welcome to Rocket League Sinfonian series. I am your host, Randomize, and with me I have Fox Mucumulus. How you doing today, Fox?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm super excited. This is gonna be a cat fight.
Yes, and the reason why we bring that up is because tonight is one of the two games that will be a very big deciding factor for this season. We are in the last week of season play. This is it. And this week is a little interesting because it's a holiday weekend. So there will be absolutely no games Wednesday through Sunday. There's one game tonight, two games tomorrow, and then one more game next Tuesday. We extended it just so that players will be able to play since we kind of cut off half of the week due to a Holy Week. But tonight is SDG versus TEO. This is the last game for these two guys. They're both in the bottom. They're going to duke it out to take the last slot in the playoffs. Whoever wins this will move on, and whoever loses is knocked out from the entire season. So this is going to be an insane game. Fox, how are you feeling about this game tonight?
Well, like I said, I'm stoked for it. It's going to be super, super close too. I feel like it's gonna be kind of similar to what the really high play in season 1 is gonna be, was, I guess, because we definitely have a less experienced player there that are gonna be kind of like battling out for opportunities there, and then two players that play really well together, and so it's gonna be super cool to see the way they managed to do it. Plus, TEO, it's a brand new TEO. They played once before. And it was against Mysticats, but they still have a bunch to prove, I think.
No, you're right about that. And, it was a rough game that night. I don't know, actually, I don't remember exactly, but I think that was against Mysticats where we had two players drop out. Yeah, two players were dropped out at the same time. No, it wasn't exactly that. So 2 weeks ago, we had to sadly say goodbye to Ghost Slayer, who asked to step out of RLSS due to personal things. So Sentry stepped in. Then last week, we had a no-call, no-show. Bozrama decided to not show up. We found out the reason. He is okay. There was a slight problem, but he ended up being also stepping down. So this, like you said, is a brand new TEO, but it's the TEO we saw last week. Riley, who was supposed to just kind of sub in, who was supposed to also commentate, he was supposed to sub in for a commentate, and then we had to get another commentator for him to jump in, so he couldn't cast anymore. Then he went in and subbed in, and then they enjoyed playing with each other. Even though they were a Merc squad, they were doing pretty well.
Yeah.
The Mysticats that we were was definitely not the Mysticats that normally we are. But even so, they took advantage of it, and it was pretty nice to see. So that comes to show the damage they can do. You can't sleep on them. So this, like you said, this is a brand new TEO. Riley is now officially a member of the team. So sorry to Gingerbeard Man, our stats collector. He will have to add another player to the stat board once that happens, but he will do that. We're getting a lot of votes in the chat. Remember, SDG or TEO. If you vote a team that's not playing tonight, your vote is invalid, and it doesn't help us when we go to see chat votes. So make sure you vote for the team you really want to win tonight. But I have to say, this is going to be very interesting because there was a similar situation for SDG. SDG played in the finals. They were in the grand finals in season 1. So they had that elimination feeling, and they almost pulled it off, but then they lost to Mysticats. Now is their time for rebuttal, but the problem is they're all the way in the bottom, so it's going to be very, very tough for them to not sit at the bottom, and they're going to have to push their way into the game. Whereas TEO, there's not much to rebuttal for them, but more of, hey, we're a brand new team, we're coming in. So right. I'm very excited to just see this game. But before we start, we have a few more things we want to bring up. When we look over at the stat sheet, you can see they are all tied up with games. Wins, losses, 1 and 6. They're both 1 and 6. Their goals per game are very tight, point 0.1 difference almost. Assists per game is
Less
like
0.05 almost.
yeah. Assists per game are close. Saves per game are close. Shots of games are close. The shooting percentage is a little different just because SDG was able to just kind of pump in a couple more extra shots, you know? Fox, you got anything you got to say about looking at these stats and how close they are?
It's a little bit hard to tell with TEO just because it's two brand new players that have only played one game. But the stat, like Century had 4 saves that entire series. He had a bunch of them. And so, like, the saves per game, he really helped out with that one. And as for the shots, he didn't put as many on as, say, like, Ghost Slayer did when he was back in it. But I definitely think that he has a really good team awareness, and so does Cools. They worked really well together, and I believe that that first game with Mysticats, we were just scratching the surface of them. You know, they weren't taking it too seriously. They were doing the Merc Squad thing. And I think today we're really going to see what they can do, and I think that they've got a lot to offer.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I totally agree on you. And that's the hard part about this TEO stats that we were just looking at. This is stats compiled of a bunch of players that were in and out of the team. So, you know, because that was the team, the Exiled One stats, but we haven't really talked about personal stats. You know, the only person we can really collect personal stats on the entire team is Cools. And what's really awesome to see is out of all those stats out there, Cools actually holds about 44% of the goals out of every player that's played on TEO this season. He holds 44%. Ghost Slayer held 41%, but until he stopped playing. So Cools stepped it up. He really did step it up. You know, he really showed, like, listen, like, I may be the last original TEO player, but I do work, and he is able to put enough damage in this. You know, Cools himself has been able to put in 12 goals during this entire season, and he has assists, and he has 16 saves. Like, that's amazing to see a player being able to do that with new teams over and over again. Mind you, he has more saves than I do all season. I have 12 saves through the season. I have 16 goals through the season, and Cools is 12. He's right behind me. So that just shows, you know, someone like him, yeah, they might have bounced up and down when it came to these, but, like, nothing stopped him. Cools still played as good as Cools can play, and I admire that. I think it's amazing that he is able to hang on like that no matter who's on the team. So kudos to you, Cools. But with that, do you have any last thoughts before we go into predictions?
No, I think we're ready to go. It'll be interesting, though, because the predictions are, like, even more predictions than before, because we have to predict how these new players are going to play as well. Yeah. Not just going from stats.
Excuse me. Yeah, no, we have to go off of, like, private matches offline and stuff like that. So if you're not part of the Sinfonian series as a player, it'd be harder for you to make a vote on the chat. But make sure, if you haven't done so yet and you just tuned in, make sure to vote who you think will win. Will it be SDG or will it be TEO? You can type in the 3 letters of the team that you want to win, and it will come up in a vote that we will show in just momentarily. And also, remember, you can tweet at PMASGN RLSS and use the hashtag RLSS, and you might see your tweet come up here on the stream. Go ahead and use that. Even if you retweet some of our tweets, it will come back up on the stream. So we do appreciate the support. But with that being said, Fox, who do you think will win this and take in that last spot for the playoffs?
I really got to be rooting for TEO on this one. I think that they deserve a chance at the playoffs. I think they've been playing really well throughout the season. They've had, like, some rough patches, though, but I think they're ready to, like, fully bounce back as a TEO that we can respect and we can really compete with, and they can really compete with us. And so I don't think it'll be a complete sweep either way. I think, well, it's hard to say. If the first game, I can see them being a little bit more nervous, and so kind of like throwing the first game, SDG can either win. But also, like, SDG has a history of throwing out the first game and then coming back with the reverse sweep. That's what they did all of season 1. And so I really think that SDG is going to take it, but I think it's going to be a 1-1-1. Okay. And I think TEO is going to take the first one, SDG is going to take one, and then TEO is going to come back at the end to get it.
Okay. You know what? It's such a heartbreaker to see a team like SDG season 1, just full on dominating until the last second where Mr. Cats came and took their throne. And this season, it's flip-flop, the biggest flip-flop I've ever seen ever. They went from the top to the bottom, which is cool because in a way we're kind of like RLCS Euro side, like the European side, where everything is so unpredictable, and I love it. I'm gonna go with TEO only because of the fact that what I saw last week, they were playing for fun, and they were able to put that much damage on Mr. Cats with mercs. So I can't imagine them going, all right, this is serious time. Which, mind you, you're right. You know, this is the first time they're playing, like, seriously, so it could play a toll. Adrenaline can just kick in and everything can go wrong for TEO. But if it doesn't, I think there is good chemistry between Sentry and Cools. And I think Riley was that third that just fit in perfectly. He may not have the highest ranks, but because of the fact that he's been trained as a caster for Sinfonian series, he kind of got the mind of a player. So all now he has to do is physically get his body to do what he knows. So I'm personally going to go with TEO as well. And my God, we look at this SDG versus TEO chat votes. 88% of you said TEO.
Wow.
There are...
Wait, the casters actually agree with chat for once? Hello?
A full-on agreement. Full-on agreement. Wait, this is so weird. So, I'm excited for this. I don't know about you, Fox. Like, I don't know who has the most excitement out of this, because as someone who created this, like, from the scratch, it's so cool to see actual drama happening. Like, there is a like there is something on the line for this game. Like, there is a reason for these guys that they have to win now, and I'm excited for that. That's what's gonna make a good Rocket League game, because they gotta win this one. So we are now opening up the rooms. Hopefully these guys will see in the stream that we are doing that and they can join, and then we're going to get this game on the road.
Absolutely. And it's going to be like, we never really had anything like this in season 1 because there was no like elimination from the playoffs. It was like all of season play like didn't really matter until the playoffs when we finally had eliminations.
Right.
This is like in season play, they need to bring their game. These teams need to bring it. They need to win this. Yeah,
and another thing that's really playing big on TEO, 2 of the 3 players are from the same chapter. So now they're going to be representing some of their chapter from the fraternity as well. I see a hashtag not my president, which is actually pretty funny.
So he's no longer president of his chapter.
Exactly. So I'm going to message SDG and then tell him to get in here. So what are we expecting to see, though, play-wise out of SDG? What do you see would allow SDG to win, and what do you see that could potentially have SDG lose tonight? What do you think that will be?
I think SDG has honestly played very consistently throughout these games. Just like you kind of know what to expect, and that can go in their favor or it can go against them. Because when it comes to TEO, Sentry can be a very emotional player. Cools can be a very emotional player, but I also know that like their passing games are relatively similar.
Okay.
Like we're just waiting for Danny to get in here. Just one more guy.
Oh,
and
Danny
he left
left.
the match.
All right, so...
He crashed. He's the new business cat, everybody.
All right, with that... And Riley gets the first point. No, I'm just kidding.
But I've been wrecking around in my brain, trying to think on whether it's going to be like a super high scoring match or a super low scoring match. And I think, honestly, it's really up to TEO on that one.
Yeah, that's where things are gonna get pretty interesting, is that it could come down to a possible, is it gonna be teams outsmarting the other teams, or is it going to be straight out one team is controlling the match by either perfectly doing something right or just completely busting and allowing the other team to win. So yeah, this could be a controlled game, which will be very interesting. That's what it is. Delta Epsilon, I believe.
I will say TEO probably has the advantage in that one because they know that Danny's going to be the main playmaker. He's going to be the one like very mechanically sound and everything like that, and he's going to be the one everyone needs to watch out for. Ginger comes out of nowhere. He earned the name Ninja Ginger for a reason. But he's definitely been starting to become like more involved in the plays as well. But at the same time, SDG doesn't really know what to expect here, and they can't really.
Yeah, that's where it's going to come a little bit in the favor of TEO. It's because of the fact that TEO, all these players have watched the entire season, whereas SDG has not been able to see them do this. So with that being said, we're going to move into game 1, SDG versus TEO in the final round of season play, the deciding factor of who will move on to the playoffs. Ginger getting a little touch there, just able to push it off in time. Cool centering up, but no one was there for that one. Sentry was in the back. Dandyland looking to clear this one out. Sorry about that. My watch got stuck to the to the mic. Oh, and a nice save by Cools there. The ball is just getting in there. What a save again. Sentry getting that one out. It's an open net now, but the ball went a little too far over. Wow. We are just 30 seconds into this game. And a lot of clutch play happens. My legs are hurting from literally clutching hard. And the ball goes in. Cools Flakes puts the first point on the board for TEO.
And I do want to point out that was Riley who had that awesome little save. He like sent it right up into the net and made it really hard for Ginger. He really tried there, but Cools is able to come in and finish the job. Riley just bought just enough time for TEO to get it out of the net.
Yeah, and it was insane of a play right there. So here we go. We're on to the second point of the game. 4 minutes, 10 seconds. We're not even a minute into this game. A lot of actions happen, and a goal has gone in. A nice pass from Danny, but Ginger did not get there in time. Ginger's gonna keep pressure on this. Center this one up. Cools was able to push that one out in time. Sentry following that one up. Danny was able to cut off at the half point. Danny looking to center this ball up. It's going high. SS and Ginger both lining up. Ginger trying to put the shot on, hitting the back wall. Sentry doing a nice job clearing that ball out. Danny following this one up. Riley now challenging, missing that one. Cools versus Danny, and Danny puts it in, tying the game up 1-1.
You know, it has got to be scary to be Cools in the net right now. He's like, oh crap, it's Danny.
It's that hard deciding factor. Do I come out and challenge, or do I sit back in net and wait for it? And Cools made the wrong choice by letting Danny have room to play around with that ball. But it's okay. Sorry?
He got kind of caught in between the middle there. He like hesitated. He's like, should I go for it? Should I not? And then he decided to go for it a little bit too early. And it just put him in a pretty bad spot.
And hesitation is the key killer of this game. But the game is still tied up with 3 minutes, 20 seconds left in the game. Net is kind of open. Nice redirect by Danny, putting the second point on for SDG. They are now in the lead by 1 point.
Way to recognize the open net there. Riley kind of made a turn for the boost. It seems like he couldn't decide whether to go for boost or for net. And then he just went, okay, and put the shot on. Really good awareness.
We're not even near halfway point yet. And we have 3 points on the board. SDG holding 2 of them and holding the lead here in game 1. This is just a best of 3, and Cools not able to clutch that one, and another point in from Danny.
It does seem like we're seeing a little bit of the nerves there. Seeing Cools hesitate quite a lot there. He probably should have tried to close the gap there a little bit once he saw Riley miss. Yeah, definitely seeing a little bit of the nerves there. I think they just need to take a deep breath. He's still plenty of time in the game. And it's only a 2-point deficit.
2-point deficit and 3 minutes left in the game. That's plenty of room to close up the gap, and Sentry does so, putting another point on the board for TEO. It's 3-2 now. They're down by 1.
You know, I was like trying to decide whether or not it's going to be a high or low scoring game. I think we figured it out by now.
Yeah, the game 1 at least is going to be a high scoring game, which is fine by me. That makes it more fun. So the game is now 3-2. TEO down by 1 point, and they are on the offensive side, and the game is tied up again, 3-3. Oh my god.
Yeah, not the best test for SS. Danny seems like he got faked out a little bit by Riley, who got that dirty little angle. That was good.
What a shot there, tying up. Both teams are doing very well. This is such an equal, balanced game. They're both making the same mistakes and making the same hits. Just, it's the idea of those. Both teams are doing a nice job capitalizing on the mistakes right now. It's Danny is definitely showing off, like, hey, like, I know some good mechanics in this game, but then right at the same time, a lot of SDG is screwing up on the defense, allowing TEO to get some nice shots in. So that allows such a nice, tight, balanced game. We're now past halfway point, and the game is still tied up 3-3. Danny looking to put a shot, but hitting the back wall. Ginger went to try to put a shot. Cleared out. Riley just whiffing that one. Sentry going to follow this one up. Pushing this in the center. It looks like Sentry might try to take this to the ceiling. Danny just beat him. Cool's doing a nice aerial. Putting the ball, but it's centered up. Oh, Riley and SS the third both faking each other out. Sentry just missing Danny. Danny passing in the center, but Ginger was not there in time. Riley with not much boost. Able to get the ball high enough for Sentry to do something with it. SS throwing the ball back into the corner. Cool's trying to get it clear on this. Danny following it up on the back wall, trying to center this. The ball's in front of the net. Sentry just getting it up before Ginger put that one in. 1 minute, 30 seconds left in the game. Game still tied up. Cool's putting this on the back wall. Looking to put a shot. It's up in the center. Sentry's going for it. Sentry hitting it off to the side. Danny Land now having control of it. Ginger all the way also on the offensive side. Everyone on TEO is retreating. This is SDG's chance to put pressure, but they're playing extremely slow. Whoa, triple commit from that, and SS puts the ball in, giving them the 1 point lead.
You know, we've said more and more SS just puts a hex on the ball, and all of a sudden, no one can touch it. No one touches the ball. He's like, all right, guys, this is mine now. Let me hit it. It's like a Jedi mind trick.
And with that, SDG now holding the lead with 1 minute left in the game, only up by 1 point. Open net again. Cools was able to clear that in time.
60 seconds left on the clock.
Got a minute left before TEO will have to fight their way out of game 2. Ball is high. Cools whiffing that. Ball's in. No! It crossbar. Sentry gets the ball out. All of TEO is working together to push the ball out. We're back on the back wall. Danny centering this up. Nice lofty pass to Ginger. Ginger missing that one. SS cutting off the entire pressure. And Danny seeing the open net and putting the ball in.
You know, I think what happened, like in the second half of this game, I think both sides really tightened up their defense. That's why we didn't see as many goals like after the 3 minute mark. But I think what's going on here is every time TEO gets to clear the ball, they have good defense, they have good clears, but as soon as it's on the other half, they don't really know how to set each other up for the shots, and it's like they don't quite have that synergy like they would for a more experienced team like SDG does. And SDG has definitely been doing a better job of setting up their own teammates for shots and like doing something with their offensive pushes rather than just pushing the ball downfield.
Another ball goes in. Ginger putting that one, giving it a 3 point lead at this point. I think it's safe to say that SDG will take game 1. I want to agree with you on that as well, but I also want to point out the fact that the jitters in TEO are definitely showing, because every time they have a chance, TEO, when they get scared, nervous or something, they will just all fully triple commit. So they have to be careful of that if they want to do that in game 2.
Yeah, and I definitely think that that's, I mean, triple commits are like any kind of a double commit or triple commit, it's a trust thing. Like either you don't know if your team is going to go up, you're not confident they're going to hit it, or something like that. And you know what? That's going to happen when you're playing with a new team. That's just the kind of thing that happens. And so they need to kind of just like shake it off, get ready for the next game, and then go from there.
And with the next game will be the deciding factor if SDG will move into the playoffs and TEO will be eliminated, or if TEO will get one more game and one more chance. I would personally love to see a game 3 against these guys. That would be the most amazing thing to happen. And I know it'd be also one of the biggest nerving, chilling moments for both of these guys. It could be a great upset. I mean, right now we are in lineup for TEO to get a reverse sweep or for SDG to get a full-on sweep. And it would be kind of a bummer if TEO goes down to a sweep, but it'd be cool to see at least if they can take one game, at least.
Yeah. I think, honestly, what needs to happen is TEO needs to score first to this game. If they can score first, then they'll gain back the momentum and keep going from there. But right now, I think they're kind of lagging behind. They're feeling really nervous. They're trying to feel like the pressure of like the elimination on top of them. I think they just need to get a goal here.
With that, we are now in game 2. Sentry looking to put the ball on the back wall. Danny doing a nice job clearing that ball out. Ginger pushing it over to the TEO side. We're now on the orange side. Ooh, mess up between Ginger and Danny, and a lot of bumping on the SDG. This is the time for TEO to clear and move. The ball is now on SDG side. SS the third is the only one back on the retreat. Whiffing that one. Danny following up. Riley getting in the way. Recovering. Sentry. Now trying to clear this ball out. Does a nice job. Ginger and SS are back. Ginger does a nice job touching that. Cools clearing that one. Ooh, Sentry trying to get a redirect off that. Missing that. Cools is going to come up. He's going to center this ball off. Ooh, a little high. Nicely done by SS, though, to be able to push it like that. Ball centering up again. Ginger clearing this one out. Getting up into the center. Sentry going up against him. The ball is in line of the net, and that's it. Danny puts another point in for the first point for game 2.
Yeah, we're looking a little rough on TEO there. We got a few whiffs on there. Seems like some of them are almost trying to play a little bit too fast there. Riley was gonna stuck on the crossbar there. I'm not entirely sure how we got up there. But we're seeing a little bit of maybe some overexertion from Sentry, trying to go for some really weird touches there. Maybe he just needs to slow down, work with his team, and play a little bit more consistent.
Riley went to set that one up. Danny was able to clear it. He has no boost, and no one on TEO is challenging him. It's back on an open net again. Center. What a save by Sentry, just getting under that shot. Able to clear the one out. We're looking at another open net. Danny just missing that. Cools, no one on TEO was able to capitalize on an open net there. 3 of them all again. Too close up. At this point, Danny is looking to just dribble this one over. Ginger confusing his own teammates. It's rarely confused, and that's putting that ball in, giving them a 2-0 lead.
There's the witchcraft again. Actually, I don't know how many whiffs were there here. If you just an unfortunate.
Not so much, yeah. 2-0, 3 minutes 21 seconds left in this game. TEO is going to have to step this one up and play how they did in the offense if they want to win this. There needs to be more trust. I'm noticing a lot of times Riley will either be right up behind someone, or everyone just gets right behind Riley, and they're not trusting or letting him do anything. He's going to make mistakes. It's fine. Let him make the mistakes and just be ready for it. And there it was, another point put on the board, and it was on the TEO side for their first point. Sentry doing a nice job passing the ball to the center, and Cools reading that, putting the ball in.
And really excellent placement, honestly. Like, the entire team was trying to, or at least SDG and Ninja were trying to move to the other side of the net, and Cools just put it right behind him. That was really good placement of his.
SS and Ninja.
Right.
Said SDG. It's all good.
Oh, whoops.
All good. But here we go. We are now on the 4th point of the game. Sentry trying to clear this one out. Danny in the back again. Cools doing a nice job clearing that, but Danny is ready for that. SS. Nice communication in SDG there. Danny knowing what to pull back. Whoa! Nice control. Off to the side, though. Ball doesn't go in. Ginger now really controlling this. Sorry?
Sentry really made the right call there of, like, charging really soon as he saw Danny had control of the ball, because it makes him try to do something with it, and he made him lose that control. Definitely a good call.
Something that I think Cools will have to do a little bit more here. Ball's back on the SDG side. All 3 members are back. Ginger doing a nice job playing some mind games as well with Danny. Danny looking to take out Sentry, but Sentry was able to clear this just in time. Sentry looking to center. Ginger getting in the way. The ball's now off to the side. SS centering this ball up. Riley hitting the ball the wrong way. Open net. Ooh, Ginger just missing the target. Danny making contact, and the ball goes in, giving them a 2-point lead. 1 minute 56 seconds left in the game.
Oh man, what an angle from Danny.
Actually bounced off Cools as well. Boop, right there.
Oh yeah. Gave me that 78 miles an hour. Good lord.
Yeah. So now we are down 2 points for TEO. SDG doing a good job holding this lead. But they have a little bit less than 2 minutes to hold on, or TEO can possibly see a game 3.
You know, I think this game, it's a lot different this game than the last one. This is a lot more about control, and I think SDG is just doing a much better job about letting their own team control the ball. I think TEO has been, like, trying so desperately to make plays happen that they forget to actually chalk and, like, check where their team is, and so when they try to make plays happen, they don't quite connect in the way that they should.
A lovely header.
Ball's cleared out nicely. All the players are bunching up again. Riley really needs to communicate with his team. It's rough for Riley because he's such a young player in this game. Danny putting another point on the board. He's such a young player, skilled wise, and in RLSS that you could definitely see the nerves are kicking in. He's not listening to his team. He's not communicating. Like I said, you always see Riley behind a player, or you always see Riley stuck with a player up his butt because there are no trust whatsoever between Riley and the rest of TEO. And a little too high there, and another point goes in. TEO is getting smashed down roughly by SDG. SDG doing a good job showing everyone that they deserve to be in the playoffs.
It does seem, I'm getting messages from Cools actually, and looking at their ping, it seems to be fluctuating quite a bit. Cools is at a steady 120. I'm not sure what we would do. He's asking if there should be a reset, because it seems like it's really affecting his play.
This is always the hard call, because last time we had this problem, it was an SDG DD thing. It was always on SDG.
That was a little bit different. That was a hardware issue. This just seems to be their internet. And I noticed Cools did mention it one time in the last game. I'm looking at their chat.
I personally can't see the chat, so I would not know.
Right.
Cools is playing pretty decently right now. The ball is being controlled in the corner. Sentry trying to hit the ball there. Cools putting the shot in, whether he has lag or not. Putting another point in for TEO, but they're still down by 4 points. I believe if we were going to do a reset out of this, we would have to make a vote out of the staff, but I don't think all of the staff are available, and 2 of the staff are playing right now on each side.
Right.
TEO. Sorry?
It's something we can talk about after the game right now. Let's just see what we can do from here. Let's see how TEO can work right now. They just need to play as hard as they can.
15 seconds left on the game. TEO down by 4. Ooh, just blocked there. Time is counting down as we see SDG taking game 2.
Oh man, you hate to see it happen.
You hate to see it happen indeed. Whoa, 2 players.
Yeah, they were both complaining about it. About their ping fluctuating like that.
SDG got out of there. They're like, we're not having this. Whoa, Riley's going up there too. All right, so with that, I believe we may have to go in. When did the complaining happen though? That's the problem. I can't see the chat, so I don't know when it started. I don't know what the points were.
I'm not sure if they put it in the chat, but he messaged me at about 1.5 to 2 minutes left in the game.
Well, at that point, they were down. So I believe we're going to take a quick break. It's the only game tonight anyway, so we have a little bit of time, a little free time. We are going to take a quick break, and we are going to make a quick vote on whether or not we should redo the game. So don't go anywhere, folks. We will be right back.
Okay, cool. Says he messaged that.
Solar eclipses. it is real. Maybe we will go, give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go. Tomorrow we build. Depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will go, give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go.
Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it again. We can start it again. We can start it.
Breathing underwater. Can't let you go now. Making it so hard. You got to know now. Ooh, taking it too far. Nothing to hold now. I'm falling apart. Out in the cold now. Breathing underwater. Breathing underwater now. I can't let go. Underwater.
this wasn't.
Hello,
like,
everyone. We are back. Thank you very much for everyone waiting for us. We do apologize about that. We had to make a staff vote, and we made an official vote. We are also going off RLCS rule books because of the fact that we were not 100% sure about this, because we technically never made a rule about this. We made rules about disconnects, but we never got around to this stuff. It's kind of hard when trying to do a lot of stuff and then we forget about updating rules every season.
When you're trying to predict everything happening, like anything that can go wrong will, as they say.
Right, exactly.
It's hard to predict for everything.
Exactly. So with that being said, and we have made... Whoa, the music is on. With that being said, we have made it clear to both teams the game will be replayed. So we're going to get even more Rocket League. So with that, I'm going to start the room up. And basically, this gives a chance, like, it was like a sign from the Psionic servers, like, relax, replay your game. You know, they looked very nervous most of the game. You know, you can tell there a lot of communication problems were happening with their team. They just need to knock it off. That's it.
Yeah, and I can't imagine what it would have been like to, like, because they had to have been lagging before, like probably around the 3-minute mark is when it started, and like we can tell like Riley is gonna start to panic because Sentry and Cools are starting to panic. They're like wondering if there's gonna be a reset. I've been there, obviously. They're like wondering, trying to call out. They're trying to like communicate with us as they're playing the game, and like that's not a way like to compete in Rocket League. You can't perform well under that kind of pressure.
Right. So hopefully, because of all that, they will be able to get a reset in their minds and not have to get as nervous anymore, and they will be able to pull off what they need to pull off. So we'll see what happens. They just need to stick it through. But SDG as well is also warmed up. You saw what they just
They're used
did.
to this by now.
Yeah, I know. Sadly, this is the second time this season it's happened to them. And here we go. We're going into game 2 again. SDG versus TEO. The reset match. TEO now has a chance again to do this. So make it worth it, TEO. We went through a whole vote for you guys. All right, so we are back on the TEO's side. 15 seconds ready into the game. Not much except a little bit of ping-ponging happening. Sentry trying to do something. SS doing a nice job getting in the way. SS and Cools pinching it, sent it up for Ninja, but Ninja just missing that one. Riley and Sentry. Once again, the communication is off there. Ginger doing a nice job getting the ball in the air. Sentry was able to deny it. Cools taking a little longer to get up there. Director mode even getting confused now. Whoa, a bump there, but Danny still caught it. There was a little play right there between SS the third and Danny. He says, move up a little bit and hit the ball there. 1 minute into the game. Oh, Danny doing a nice job reading. Open net. The ball goes in, giving the first point again to SDG.
All right. It's hard to say where their mindsets are going to be at this point. You know, they've got to be feeling nervous. They still got probably the jitters from the previous match, like winning that, like SDG winning that. But you know what? They're used to that feeling, and so it's hard to say where these players' mindsets are right now. I think their play is going to really have to show it.
Ooh, Danny Lane doing a nice job clearing that ball out. He was able to get it away. Cools looking at an open net. Cools and Sentry working together, putting the ball in. Now they're tied up 1-1. I'm gonna quickly check the scoreboard, and everyone is looking okay. There's a 72 ping actually. Who was that? It's Riley. He's up there, but that's where he was last time too, and he was doing all right. So the game is now tied up 1-1. 3 minutes 45 seconds left in the game. Now we're starting to see a little bit more like game 1. So it could be a chance that a lot of that was actually due to lag. Who knows? Or
yeah, I think we definitely have a chance for some momentum for TEO here. You know, they got the score. They're tied up. There's still plenty of time in the game.
A little whiff from Ginger. Riley putting that ball a little too high, a little uncomfortable for his team, but high enough that Danny could not capitalize on that. Sentry trying to do something off the wall. Nicely done without any boost there. Centering up for Riley. Riley a little too high for him. Cools followed up on that. He should have stayed back. He was last man. Just enough time for them to get back. Riley was able to take out Danny. Good move by there. Ooh, Ginger doing a nice job stopping the cross map push. Danny putting that ball high in the air. Cools trying to clear this one out, but Ginger is there. It hit off the back wall, just missing the net. Sentry up in the air, looking to put that ball straight towards the net. Hitting the back wall. Riley's now going to capitalize on it. Taking it too long. Cools is too far up for this. Does a nice job stopping that one, but Danny is there and putting another point in, giving SDG a 1-point lead.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate touch by Cools. He pushed up a little bit too far on there, and he wasn't able to get a decent clear on that, and Danny was just able to swoop in.
So now SDG's holding the lead 2-1. And we are at the halfway point of game 2 again. Cools centering this up nicely for Sentry, but Sentry getting up way too late there. Danny was able to clear this one out. It's pushing it over to the other side. Sentry's going to turn around. Keep the ball on the offense for Orange. But no one following him up. Danny doing a nice job. He's getting some nice side wall redirects, kind of. He's putting the ball right back in the center for a player to take a shot. Riley getting that ball right over Danny. This ball centering up. And the ball just missing it. Sentry and Riley want to take that shot and missed it. Little confusion. Sentry is confusing his entire team there. I don't know how much communication's happening on the TEO side. But if there's not any communication, they need to start speaking now, or more of those mistakes are going to happen. Ginger getting a little confused on that. SS getting confused on that. Cools needs to capitalize on it. No one on TEO was even prepared for a possible mess up. No one's playing aggressive on TEO. They're playing aggressive way too much together, all trying to make the same move instead of doing one at a time. No team plays are happening that much, except right there. Cool's able to tie the game up 2-2. Yeah, that was the power of friendship right there.
Yeah, I was getting a little worried there. Like, you made a really good point saying that, like, they're all trying to make the same moves. And you can see, obviously, with that double commit on there. And fortunately for them, there was no one to net. But, like, being done a bit, like, we only got a minute and a half left. They need to start making some plays happen and start kind of resetting their rotations and actually rotating instead of all committing at the same point.
Danny controlling the ball back onto the Orange side. Not giving up on this, centering it up. Ginger just missing that. Sentry getting a good clear. Riley taking his sweet time, not really getting up there. He could have probably challenged SS and confused him a little bit. Sentry doing a nice shot, bouncing it off the wall, but Danny is there, putting the ball on the net. Cools just clearing that in time. Sentry trying to follow this one up. A lot of whips up in the air, 3 whips in a row. No one hitting the ball, still no contact. There it is, Ginger finally hitting the ball. Cools doing a nice job reading Ginger. Sentry centering this one up. Cools needs to turn around quickly, or Riley get the ball. Danny doing a nice job clearing Riley away from being able to take that shot, but the ball's still in the center, open net. Ball's now onto the Orange side. Danny doing a good job clearing that, getting a big boom across the net. Ball centering up, 30 seconds left in the game. I just said that.
Last little move, I think Danny had more trust in Riley than his team does.
Yeah. Actually, Danny's been reading Riley better than his own team has. Ooh, Danny went to get a redirect there and missing that one. Sentry doing a nice job clearing this one out. 15 seconds left in the game. Oh, nice pass play right there. Ginger just missing the target. Sentry doing a nice job there. We're counting down the last 10 seconds of regulation time. Sentry doing free style. The ball's up in the air, and it could be the shot. No, too far. We are in overtime in the do-over of game 2.
At least we are absolutely positive that it was Lag's fault that TEO was getting beaten down so hard in that last game.
Yeah, I agree. I would say we made the right choice about this. Because it's a tied up game again. Nice save by Danny. This is what we saw in game 1 before the lag was happening. Open net, no one back. And that's it. Oh! Pull shot. Ginger to Danny to the net. And that's it. Game over again. A 2-0 sweep again.
I can just hear Danny go, like, skirt around that ball until Ginger hit me. He just pull shot right in, the perfect play.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. SDG will now move on to the playoffs, and TEO is officially eliminated from the season, from the whole thing. Do you remember what the score was for the first game?
A lot. I think it was 6-3. It was
no. First game completely.
Yeah.
Was it still 6-3?
Yeah, it was 6-3 because they scored a bunch in the first half, and then SDG just kind of took it from there.
That's true. It's very true. Hey, that were good games. Good games in general. Much closer that time. I think we made the right call there to reset that just to make sure and prove that we were not wrong, that it was lag. But, you know, it was close match in the end of the day. You can't get upset if you were on the SDG side or the TEO side. You know, they did a good fight for an entire game of, or entire season, I should say, of trading players left and right. They did pretty well for that.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, like, I hate to see it happen. It's a rough time. But you know what? I think they played really well out there. And I think if it had been that team for more of the season, I think we would have definitely saw a different outcome there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think if we started with this TEO that we just saw play, I think TEO would have been much better through the season. You know, for a team that just played maybe two matches, you know, last week and this week, they're doing pretty well. They did pretty darn well. And I am even getting I'm seeing Cool's message in the yeah, I see Cool's in the chat saying that's the game I wanted to go out on. And I respect that because I think that honestly is a better game to go out on.
Yeah.
I personally would have been if I was in the same predicament as them, I would have been the same. Like if I lost that second time, I would respect it. And if it was the first one and we're struggling with lag, I'd be like,
excuse me.
Excuse me. I think we deserve a rematch or a replay or something. But Fox, you invite who you want to come in for this next one. You make this call.
I think that I want to talk to Ginger. I don't think we've talked to Ginger all that much throughout the season, other than casting.
Actually, you know what? I think you're right. I don't think we've ever done that. So I believe you should be able to actually add them into here. But you know, Ginger actually was doing very well this game. Like Danny did awesome, but Ginger also did extremely well. And speaking of which, there he is.
Man, he was ready for that invite.
The Ginger himself.
It popped up. I wanted to get rid of the notification.
What notification popped up?
The little call button.
Like as soon as I invited him, he like popped into the call. I think he was ready.
He like lined it up, knew exactly where it was gonna be, and just took it.
Wow.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
GG to you guys. You are now officially in the playoffs. How do you feel about that?
I mean,
Relief.
given the past like 2 or 3 games now, like SDG's finally playing like SDG again a little bit. So it's nice to be able to keep going and seeing where we're going to be going. So
yeah. So with game 1, you guys were doing an excellent job in game 1. Like there was a bit of a rough patch. Games were really close, and then you guys just kind of took off towards the end. What was going on at the beginning of the game that changed up towards the end of the game?
I think we just literally warmed up. Like we honestly didn't have much time beforehand, because SS had some things to do with his chapter and that up until I think 10. So like we were a little cold. So
hey, but you know, going from little cold to tied 3-3 to the last like minute and a half of going 6-3, that's not bad.
yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah. So, how were you guys feeling? We had to make a rough call for you guys. We had to make a reset. That was 2 times in a row that we had to make a reset on just your team. First time was against Ditto Dudes. I know I was in there for a second just talking to you guys, but what was like going? What were you guys thinking or saying to keep yourself in the game to get such a successful win at the end?
I mean, like honestly, like I started off, I was like, I'm not with this. Like I was watching it, I was just like, no, it's already happened once. I don't want it to happen again. And then I'm like, that second game,
I mean, if you lost, we would have just had game 3 anyway.
I mean, true, but well, like my main issue with the whole thing is like that period in between of decision and that's occurring is we get cold. We get really cold where, minds are turned off. So I'm
Yeah.
really happy that didn't happen to us again. Because it's an unfortunate thing because I know like with DD, I wasn't there mentally on that game.
Oh, but this game you definitely were. I mean,
I
this
was like,
had
you
to
know
be
what?
the game to be.
I want to keep going.
Yeah, no, good job to you guys. I mean, it was scary. It was a scary match, but it didn't stop you guys. You were able to hang on there. So good job to you. And this is it. You're on now. You're into the playoffs. So not this weekend, not the weekend after, but the weekend after that, April 14th, you guys are in. I'm trying to find out who you will actually be playing against, but technically we won't know the official who will be playing against just because of the fact that we still need to find out. We know right now you are technically in fourth seed in the division, but we don't know exactly overall who are you actually in. I'm trying to check right now and see who you would what place you guys would technically be right now out of all 8 slots.
While we're looking at that, I do have a few questions.
Go ahead.
So the first one that I really want to ask is, we had talked about this a little bit before the game, where last season you guys were like top dogs. You were going all the way through playoffs until like you only really felt that elimination pressure at like the very last moment of the playoffs. Whereas this time you're fighting to get in the playoffs, and you're facing that elimination before you can even get there. How did you guys deal with that going in? How did you guys feel about that like weeks before? How did you guys deal with that kind of pressure?
I mean, it's been kind of a mess throughout the season. Like me and SF has been trying to step up in that, and it's kind of messed up the team a bit, like how the team functioned. And we're just it just like other teams have been able to make the switch from season 1, season 2, but ours didn't just click as easy, and it's just starting to click now, fortunately.
Right.
But like we're just like as long as we're not the bottom seed, that's all that matters. Because we can pull a Mystic.
At least Group A.
Yeah, and like to follow that up, now you guys are going into the playoffs, and now you guys are the bottom seed. Like, the fight's not going to go away now that you're in the playoffs. How are you going to take this energy and this win and like go into that? How are you guys approaching these next coming weeks?
Yeah. Well, we're just gonna train a little bit, actually, because SS just learned about the freaking training packs, even though me and Danny have been telling him about it all season.
Oh, man.
He's like, "Oh, these are cool." I'm like, "Really?" But like I said, these past few games we've started, clicking again. So like that momentum, it's just starting. I feel like it's like a train sort of concept. It's just building up right now, and it's just gonna get better and better. So
okay.
All right, very cool. That's cool to hear. It's definitely cool to hear.
It wasn't confidence. Sorry, SS, but not like I was telling you how many times. I'm not apologizing.
So with that being said, this is going to be very interesting. So you guys are set. You're safe. You don't have to worry about anything anymore. But there is one more thing you have to worry about. And this is the Team 10 versus TRP game. Now, here's why I say you have to worry about this. As of now, you are tied for 7th seed against Team 10. If they win, you will be taking 8th seed, and your first match, as long as Mysticats wins against S2, your first match will be against Mysticats. Funny to say. Because if you remember in season 1, Mysticats were the guys who put you down at the bottom.
Yes.
We knocked you into the
will never
losers
get tired
bracket.
of reminding him.
No, I will never. And when I see you guys at the LAN, I will remind you again.
I mean, let's go.
I love you, man. I love you guys. But if Mr. Cats loses to S2, that will then put S2 in first seed, and that means you will verse them first. Here's even a bigger kicker. If TRP wins, there is a good chance they could possibly just sneak by. Actually, no. They would, even if they... Yeah, even I just did the math in my head. Even if they win, they will be sitting in 8th seed. So if TRP wins, you get 7th seed. If Team 10 wins, you get 8th seed, and you will either possibly go against Mr. Cats or S2. But if Team 10, if TRP wins, then never mind. You will either go up against Mr. Cats or S2. I just checked what the other option could be.
The options are very.
So, in the end of the day, I'm just curious, as the final question before we end this, who would you want to see win? Would you want to see S2 or Mr. Cats to win the next game to possibly decide who you will go up against game 1 in the playoffs? Do you want a rebuttal match of the first round against Mr. Cats, or do you want to just take a chance?
Just so we can play Mr. Cats early,
So you want S2 to lose or win?
Or whoever we're playing first. Like, for Mr. Cats to play against, I don't know how to.
Okay, so as long as Mr. Cats wins their game, and as long as Team 10 wins their game, you will verse Mr. Cats first. If Mr. Cats lose and TRP wins, and Team 10 loses, you will verse Mr. Cats. If any of the other one switches, you will verse S2. Little confusing. I get it. It's throwing a lot of numbers around. This is actually the part I enjoy. I enjoy watching as we start creating and setting the seeds. As the
ladder.
As the coordinator of this, and the organizer of this, I enjoy watching stuff like that. So with that said,
is the kind of stuff where, like, as the staff, when we start like talking about different things and like different plans and stuff like that, he starts talking about this and going on tangents. We just go like,
all the hypothetical pathing. I'm just like, yo, it's not even happening yet. Calm down.
Yeah, I would get in fights with people when they bring up options. They'd be like, well, I don't think it's fair if this and that, and I will just go off.
Yeah.
But it's my love. I love doing this. That's why. It's just a fun creation, and it's just because of everyone here who watches, everyone who here plays, casts, runs things with me. I love what I do. I hope once we transfer over to RBG Esports, I hope it will become big so that we can make this our career, so we can continue doing what we love doing, and just not have to have a day job anymore. This will be our day job. I would love this to be my day job. I don't care if I have to sit there and run numbers all day just to see if we can make or break sending a team into RLCS. I will do that because I love this. This is my home. This is what I love doing. So thank you everyone for giving us this chance, allowing us to live a dream that many people don't get to do, honestly. Not a lot of people get to pull off the stuff that we get to do. So I do appreciate it, folks. Thank you so much. So tomorrow night will be 2 games. And that will be... I forgot what the first game was. There is a game before mine and I completely forgot, but I will look right now. Hang on, I got this. I'm the coordinator. So the game at 11 p.m. Eastern time will be OTC versus Ashen's Rage. I don't think that will change much, whoever will win. I believe if Ashen Rage wins, that will just switch. No, if Ashen Rage is lose and OTC wins, then that might swap. Nah, it doesn't matter. The only chance is that if Ashen Rage wins tomorrow, they might be able to take away Diddle Dude's spot in the 3rd seed overall, and then Ashen's Rage would verse against OTC again for the playoffs, first game. So, but we'll see when it gets there. But Options Rage versus OTC, it's a game you're going to definitely enjoy watching. It's just a game to kind of just, they're locked in. They're already in. They're just kind of filling in where they want to be and be more comfortable. The higher the seed you are, the more chances you are because you verse the lower seeds first. It's just how brackets work. But at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time is the game you do not want to miss. The first time these two versed, it was a show to not miss. Both teams put on a great show, and I know it's going to happen again. Tomorrow, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, S2 versus Mysticats, the game that many people are waiting for again. It was insane. I believe you two were the ones who actually were commentating that game, right?
I think so.
Fox, you were definitely commentating that. I know that because I would rewatch it, and I would just hear you scream when I got that redirect. You're like, that actually was amazing. I'm like, you mean the rest of this game was not amazing? Thanks. That's me. That's what happens to me when I'm in the car just listening to casters talk, and I'm like, no, that's not true. But yeah, you're not gonna want to miss that. And then next Tuesday will be the next something with Tuesdays that make deciding factors happen. But next Tuesday will be Team 10 versus TRP at 11 p.m. Eastern. That is another game you do not want to miss. So basically, don't miss any of the games. And how so? Make sure you hit that follow button so you know when we go live and you won't miss anything that will happen. And then you'll find out when we play. Subscribe to us. It helps us. We appreciate all of the subscriptions. The money really does help us out. It actually goes right back to some of the prize pools and then some of the cool artwork and stuff you see here. Doesn't go to any of our pockets at all. Swear to God, cross my heart. Bits as well. We do appreciate all your help. So thank you very much, folks. You guys have anything you would like to say before we get out of here? Oh yeah, you're above me now.
Oh wait, I am.
Yeah.
I just want to give a shout out to Nate for believing in SDG tonight. So thank you, Nate. Only one voting for us. He was the one individual that voted.
Oh yeah,
for us.
he was. He was the only person. Nate has been on point
So-
when it comes to stuff.
As long as you have Nate on your side, you're good.
What is it? Nationwide is on your side. So like Nathan Wilson's on
Well,
your
yeah.
side. We'll come up with it for the next one. That'll be the next commercial. Fox?
I got nothing. Like, you pretty much said it all. You know,
All right.
don't miss these next shows. We're heading into the playoffs. It's going to be a big season. Big season finale. It's going to be huge. It's going to be absolutely huge.
Yes, mark it in your calendar. April 14th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time is the first day. That is a Saturday. Then April 15th at 6 p.m. will be the finals and all-star match. I think it'll be just like one round of like losers bracket. And then we go into the winners, losers finals, some awesome all-star matches, which, by the way, folks, we are going to be posting something down below very soon. We'll keep you update. Follow our Twitter at PMASGNRLSS. PMASGNRLSS. Follow the Twitter. We'll be tweeting out very soon a survey for you guys to vote who you want to see in the all-star match. Even the team that was just eliminated, you could have a player get in the all-star match. We'll be having that up very soon. Follow the Twitter. Brothers who are playing, make sure to keep an eye on the Discord. I will be making an announcement where you can make these votes. Send out that survey to everyone. We want to get as many votes as we can for the all-star match, and I might throw a little twist into that all-star match, because why not? I've been doing that the entire season. No, not like that. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. No, guys,
Rumble drop
come on.
shot. Let's go.
I was about to say Rumble drop shot. And Austin is automatically in it because I know he hates it. So once again, folks, my last words are thank you for watching. Make sure to hit that follow button. Otherwise, we are going to get out of here. Ginger, once again, congratulations to you and your team for winning this. Fox, thank you for joining me. As always, it's a pleasure to cast with you. I'm Randomized Ginger. Fox, we are getting out of here, and we will see you guys tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So be there. Later.